name's Lizzie and I'm Head of Operations for the London Apprenticeship Company and the College of Apprenticeship Training. The first thing about taking on an apprentice is to make sure that they're legally employed, and the first port of call for that is a contract of employment. That should outline various things like the hours they're allowed to work, what they'll get paid and how many holidays they're entitled to. Essentially, employing an apprentice isn't really that different to taking on a normal member of staff, so they still need to have a fixed rate of pay above the national minimum wage and the legal amount of holidays they're allowed to take as well. In terms of hours they're allowed to work, the guidelines say apprentices have to work a minimum of 30 hours, and as a rule they shouldn't really work more than 40. There are two further things you need to think about when employing apprentices. Firstly, the statutory apprenticeship standards for England, which are the SACE guidelines, and secondly is to ensure they're enrolled on a nationally recognised apprenticeship framework. The SACE guidelines cover things like the amount of hours the apprentice is allowed to work, the contract of employment they're on, that they're in a meaningful job where they're actually undertaking duties and responsibilities as part of that, and around the amount of guided learning hours that the framework consists of. Guided learning hours are the recommended amount of hours that need to be delivered in actual one-to-one tutorial and or assessor support as part of their apprenticeship framework. The SACE guidelines say that the apprentice must be enrolled on a nationally recognised framework with a nationally recognised and approved training provider within the UK. It also stipulates the amount of guided learning hours that an apprentice needs to undertake as part of that qualification, and that really means about the one-to-one contact with a tutor and or assessor during the course of their apprenticeship delivery. You can also watch our separate video on apprenticeship frameworks, but in essence the framework consists of the technical element of the qualification, which is around the underpinning knowledge the apprentice needs to actually undertake that role. Then there's the MVQ or QCF element, which is around workplace assessment, so actually proving that the apprentice can undertake that job following that training. And then the functional skills element, which is around the English, Maths and ICT, which some apprentices may have already from GCSEs, but if they don't, it ensures that they're upskilled in those areas before they complete their framework. As with all employees, apprentices need to be paid. There are national guidelines around what should be paid to apprentices, but the London Apprenticeship Company, in our experience, really believe that apprentices should be paid a minimum of £180 a week, anywhere up to around £250. We always think incremental pay rises are a really good idea, especially after the 3, 6 and 9 month mark, because it really helps to motivate the apprentice. If you then want them to go on to another level apprenticeship and to progress them further, it's a good idea to put one in place then too. While this might seem quite complicated, at the London Apprenticeship Company we actually employ apprentices on hosts' behalf, which means we can pay them, deal with their contracts, national insurance, tax and pension contributions, making it a lot easier for you to host an apprentice. So if you're thinking about employing your first apprentice, please do get in touch with us and we can help you through the process.